land ownership is, to me, is very important. It's very important. Something you can hand down, something that you can actually say
Yeah.
you work the land yourself, and this is what I have to show for it. You know.
Hello, my friends. This is Dave Deniston, and welcome back to another episode of Land Stories. I am so honored to have another guest here with me. His name is Joe Hartnell. He brought a property from us out in Mojave County, Arizona. So we're going to talk about Joe, get to know him a little bit, and understand why land for him. Hey, Joe.
Hey, how you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm here in Minnesota. It's like 80 degrees outside, end of the summer weather, perfect time of the year out here. How about you?
I'm over here. It's nice in Santa Maria. People get a late start because of the fog in the morning. But it's nice. It's nice.
Is it because that's California, right? That area?
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes, sir.
is it there been many fires out there? Has that been
Not right here in the Central Coast area where we are. We're lucky so far this summer. I think the majority of the fires have been up north in Northern California.
man? Did you ever get much fire out there though in your area? Because it's mostly I think of like rolling like grass hills and stuff,
You got
out
it.
that way.
Rolling grass hills filled with wineries.
Yeah. Man, yeah, it's actually one of my favorite areas. We did a road trip from almost like Santa Barbara area, drove all the
Yeah.
way up to San Francisco, and it's so beautiful out there. I love San Luis Obispo and that area,
Yeah.
and that Hearst Castle is something else. You been to Hearst Castle before?
No, that's up towards Santa Cruz, I believe.
Yeah, a little
Santa
further
Cruz,
north.
Monterey. Monterey, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Well, tell me about you. Did you grow up in California, or where are you from?
No, sir. I was born and raised in a place called Albuquerque, New Mexico. And my father was in the military. He served 22 years in the Air Force. He was stationed at Kirtland Air Force Base and met my mother, who was from Albuquerque, and voila, here you have it. Uh, so the and I was raised there and stuff like that. Eventually, unfortunately, my parents, they got divorced, and my dad moved to California. My mom stayed in Albuquerque with her parents, and so I kind of followed my dad out to California, and started going out on my own, working things like that. Uh, my interest in land, if you're ready for that.
Actually, let's back up on some of that real quick because New Mexico to me is like a hidden gem that a lot of people don't think about. Like as you were growing up, did you guys go up in the mountains out there? Up Santa Fe and north like Red River and Angel Fire down south, down past that area. Did you get out around there much growing up?
Growing up, we mainly went to the Sandia Mountains, which is right there in what they call Tijeras Canyon in Albuquerque. And it's only like, I don't know, 20 minutes from downtown Albuquerque. And they got the tramway and all that. We did that. We went picking what they call piñons. Those are those little seeds that you bake and stuff like that. They're hard to find in the stores. They're not like sunflower. Pine cones, things like that. I stayed with when my dad was traveling, overseas and stuff. We stayed at my grandma's, and that was in Albuquerque, and they had 12 acres of land in Albuquerque.
Nice.
Them and my grandfather. So he had goats, chickens. Back then, that was like the 70s, the 60s. So I became familiar with that type of life, doing chores, cutting wood, things like that. And that kind of stuck in me. Unfortunately, over the years, as my grandfather passed, my grandmother passed, they handed it down to my mom and her sisters. She had three brothers, three sisters, and it was divided. And then in time, they sold it to other people that, the acreages that they got, because Albuquerque was just getting bigger. So the offer
Yeah.
was almost hard to resist for them, you
Yeah, for
know.
sure. For sure. But
And
it's
so,
to have those memories though, that's what it's all about.
oh,
Growing up.
yeah. You can't take that away. I mean, even in my worst days, I still can look back and say, oh man, I've had, some good memories with some good friends, and the people around me have been successful, you know. So I just try to stay afloat.
Yeah, right. Totally. Well, and so you moved to California with your dad, follow him out there. Were you much of like a camper, or like
No,
what was that like?
no, Dave, I'm actually more like a city dweller, a concrete jungle. I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the hustle and bustle of the cars, the sirens, the department stores, when they used to have them,
Amazon.
and the long lines at the restaurants, you go to McDonald's and there's a long line. Those are the things I'm kind of like more into, the city
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
as I grow older, though, to be honest with you, I'm just trying to ease back into a little spot, that I've helped create myself and build and just relax, place to relax.
I love it. So you bought this property in Arizona, so why that for you? When there's so many different places, all across the country you could choose, why Arizona?
Yes. Well, Priscilla and I, that's the wife, I've been married for 31 years. And well, Priscilla, we lived in Orange County. I believe I mentioned that to you before, in Lake Forest, and things were getting pretty expensive. And so she made the decision to go ahead and we're going to sell the house. We're going to get what we get. That's when the market, everything plunged in the market,
Hmm.
the housing market. And she went to Arizona and she picked a place. She don't like Nevada. She don't like Las Vegas, just, I guess, too much sin for her. you know. So she picked a place called Bullhead City in the Mojave Desert. I call it the Mojave Desert. She calls it Mojave County. I think it's a desert. So then she I told her that I'd like to get some land and stuff. And she's the one that actually gave me your website. And then I started looking on it regularly. And I seen Golden Valley, Yucca, all right there between Kingman and Bullhead City.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, this is the spot. This is going to be the
Mm.
spot where, I decide to settle down and, you know, just relax with the wife. And Dave, I'll tell you something. When I gave her the news that we went ahead and started doing this, and she wouldn't believe it at first until I sent her a copy of the deed, the contract. That's when she just started crying, Dave. And yeah, and so I'm not really the mushy guy, but that kind of hit me. I didn't know it was that important, things like this.
Mm.
So I owe a lot to you. I appreciate it, and you
Well,
guys are real simple to work with so far, up to this point, and it's pretty basic. Everything's basic, and that's helpful.
well, you
So
made my day, just telling me that story, That's why we do what we do, just making people happy and trying the best we can to live the dream, and
yeah.
it's I know if it were me, if I'm in your shoes, I would just be like, is this for real? Like tell me about that emotion, of going through that. How did you work through understanding they are for real? This is legit. How did you work through that on your end?
Um, I did have some reservations because more so than her, we're like opposites in the sense that she trusts everybody and I trust nobody. Um, so uh, so when she gave me this and I looked through it and everything, and I'm like, nah, no way. And I'll be honest with you, Dave, I'm 57 years old and I've gotten to the point where I need to make almost every penny count.
Yeah.
There's no more somewhat called entertainment, and stuff like that in my budget.
Right?
So yeah. So I seen it and I said, this is doable. This is really doable right here. The payment amounts that you have, the down payment. And so, like I said, my concern was, is this for real? I mean, after this time, are we really going to get a deed or what's it going to be like? What about taxes? My main concern is, are taxes going to come back to Hami saying, oh, they ain't been paid in 9 years or something, and I got to foot the bill for that, and
Yeah.
things like that. So after talking to you and then reading the contract, which is really it's basic, simple contract. There's no. It's easier to read than something in a medical journal. you know? So yeah, you know, and that's about your health. You got to know about that. But
Right?
anyway, yeah. So working with you, what set me off at the point to where I started believing that, you know, this is for real and you guys are legit and everything, was when I contacted you and I pressed pay, I think, or buy or something like that. And on the app, on the online, and you guys got back at me right away. Christy, I believe it was. Yeah, Christy, right? Her. She got at me, gave me a number and stuff like that, and what to do and how to do it and everything, and it just fell in line. There was no like stuff like that. It was like a real business transaction. When you call somebody, at least I like to hear somebody. I like to hear a person or something that's real, not something about a business that's been shut down for 5 months or something like
Right.
that. So
Right.
that's kind of how I knew that this was good. And I got a good feeling about it after I talked to you that one day on the phone. I got a good feeling. I feel you're legit. You're an honest, you know, guy, and that helps me a lot in my decision making.
No, I love that, Joe. And I appreciate that feedback. And like I said, if I'm in your shoes, it's hard. It's hard to take this leap, of knowing what's going on. And I appreciate you taking that journey with us. And, my promise to everyone is I try and treat people the way I want to be treated. And uh-oh, lost Joe. I'm gonna pause this. All right. So, Joe, we talked a little about had a little bit of connection difficulties. Hopefully everyone can see and hear this okay later on. Um, I know you're talking about dealing with Christy and us as a company. And do you think, like, for you, is this the only piece of land you'd ever get, or do you think you'd ever look other places? Look for anything else in the future?
Yes, I'll definitely be looking for more land in the future, but probably just like 1 acre parcels.
So something relatively good size. I mean, 1 acre is a lot of land. That's not too far from one
Yeah.
football field. Um, if you were to give me any feedback, just in terms of how to make the process better, or even like places we should have for sale, what feedback would you give to me in terms of the process or properties or whatever?
I'm sorry I didn't catch all that, Dave. You
Oh,
were
no
breaking
problem,
up.
Joe. Yeah, I'll say the question again here. So I was wondering, like, if you were interested in properties, actually not just that, but um, since since you've been through this process, do you have any suggestions for me in terms of how we can get better, or anything in terms of other areas that you may be looking for properties that are 1 acre, things you'd like to see that maybe we don't have yet? Do you have any feedback for me on that?
Um, the properties I'm looking for actually are in a place called Las Lunas, New Mexico, because
Ah,
my sister lives out there, and it'd be nice to go out there and have something and visit her and be able to stay at my own place. um,
nice.
so, but as far as what you could possibly do to better your side of the deal and everything, I think you got it simple to where someone that like me, who's a first time land buyer purchaser, can get in there and still feel comfortable about the investment that he's making. So you
Mhm.
have that foundation already. And sometimes people do too much to where it becomes confusing for the less knowledgeable, you know?
Yeah. Is there anything on that
And so
we
I
could?
uh no, the simple money thing is kind of, but that's just me and my I'm pretty traditional. I'm not used to doing all this internet stuff and everything over the phone,
Yeah.
in a couple of years, I'll probably get a little better. Have it pretty simplified, to be honest with you, you know. And that's what I appreciate. I like simple things. I like being able to do something and
Yeah, keeping keeping things simple. I think there's a lot to be said for that. And I let folks know, hey, if you're not sure what to do or you just have a question, just reach out, and let us know and we can look it up for you.
Yes.
But these online tools, they're a blessing, but they're also kind of a curse in a way too, where um, people like to have this stuff available at their fingertips, but other people don't. So definitely, if you have any things that comes up, Joe, just let me know. I'll personally, myself or Christy will take care of you. So.
Mhm.
Well, in any other, if someone was to ask you about the company, what would you say, just as we move forward from here?
Um, I would say, in fact, a few people already have asked about it. I got my cousin Dina and then my cousin Randy. Randy didn't believe it at first. He's like, no way, that's impossible. But I showed him everything and he became a believer. But these people out here in California, and I try not to throw myself in there, they're paying for everything. I mean, California, the state of California has found a way to get in their pocket in more ways than you could even imagine.
Oh,
So they don't really have a so when they talk about buying some land, raw land like that, in like let's say Arizona, they're real hesitant because they can't believe, here they are paying all these like $500,000 for their house and a mortgage of $1,800 a month, and at the end of the day, they don't even own the land that the house sits on, you
right.
know. And so that's another thing that had me go out that way, because my wife went and got herself a little spot, for us out there. But the thing is you don't make enough money out there. That's why I make more money working over here the hours I do than she does in 2 weeks of work in Arizona. So,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of it has to do with economics, and you make it affordable, Dave. You make it affordable where somebody can actually go and make an investment like this. And the way you have it set up to where like we can't make no improvements on it, I think in the first 6 months or something like that, right?
Yep.
Which is good because in your end, you don't want to become a landlord. I can just see
Hmm.
people going over there and wanting to think they own the land already, so they're going to start doing all this and whatever they want just because they're making payments, you know? And so the way you have it set up, it gives us, well, at least my family, time to think about, okay, how we're going to go about this. We got to have a master plan for developing this land, and and find out. It gives you the 6 months, actually gives us time to figure out septic systems, water wells, manufactured housing, clearing the
Yes.
land, fencing the land, and the way you have it set up, it gives us that time, you know, and that's what to me, when you see an investment, you don't just right away jump, into it. In this case, it's going to be a periodic advancement, and
Mhm.
that's what I like, to be honest with you. And I explained that to my relatives, my cousins out here, and they got on board too. And they said, well, we'll see after 6 months how it goes for you. And I said, okay, you know, yeah, I'm a believer.
Perfect.
I'm a
Yeah,
believer,
man.
man.
No, it's all good. And then I tell folks, as you get to that 6 month time frame, now you're past that, right? You made 6 months of on-time payments. We've never had an issue. Then at this point, maybe you haven't paid off the property yet, right? You're just making payments and you're wanting to improve it. Now, at this point, what has to happen is, since you don't have the deed yet, I have to sign off on stuff. So just
Mhm.
make sure, we get things through the planning and zoning. I'll have you fill it out and I'll sign it. It's really easy.
Yeah,
So I'm happy to sign off on stuff for people that are paying on time. It's when they're not, we got an issue. Um,
yeah,
so because the last thing I want to do is have a bunch of junk left on a property, which has happened to me a few
right.
times.
I bet.
So um, just when the time comes, just let me know. Send me this stuff. I 99% of the time I'll sign it, and
Mhm.
we'll get it going from there.
Well, by nature, and this was the way I was raised, my parents always taught me to leave things in better shape than what you found them. And
Yeah.
so, I think this is going to work out great for both of us. I really do, because I got a good feeling about it. I don't have any hesitations, and I kind of get your end of the deal too. I'm able to, see that far at least. And I think the communication that we develop between us is going to help in the future, because then I had told my son, I got a 27-year-old son named Alan, and I told him he's going to help me on all this, and this is going to be like a model. This is a big piece of land, this 2.35, but in the future, we're looking at just a regular acre of land, and we'll be able to take the knowledge and experience that we gained from doing this with you to purchase another parcel and continue forward like that. And hopefully he can pick up and carry the torch, when I pass on. Land ownership is, to me, is very important. It's very important. Something you can hand down, something that you can actually say, you work the land yourself, and this is what I have to show for it, So I appreciate you.
Well, thank you. And I think like your story, thank you, Joe. Well, I think the story with your grandparents, right? And that's what I get to, taking the kids and grandkids out to some spot, and to say this is our land, this is our family's land. There's a lot to that, and you're doing it. So congratulations to you, sir. Well, Joe, any final thoughts you want to leave us with? Any final thoughts you want to leave us with before we head out of here?
Nothing, except I think Arizona is going to be the next boom state, because these people in California, man, they're going to come to their senses soon enough, man. Because after this COVID, the price of everything, the burgers done went up $2. Gas, you're paying like 12 cents extra if you use a credit card or a debit card at the pump, and that's what they want you to do. They push all, you got to have good credit, you got to use a debit card. And then when you use it, they tax you on it. So I think some of these people are going to start waking up and moving out towards Arizona and what have you. When they do that, then I'll head to New Mexico.
All right, Joe. Well, appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much for being on. And my friends, if any of you have a question about land, certainly come see us at Generation Family Properties. You can reach myself, or Christy is your gal if you have questions about a specific property. Christy's phone number is 971-248-6715. Thank you so much for being with us, Joe. Have a good one. Take care.